It's October. It's Halloween. Anyway, so it's been a while. I haven't been on this account in forever. I made some Resident Evil videos, and I just kind of was like, those are fun. Maybe I should do some more. But instead of video games, or Resident Evil for that matter, why don't I look at Halloween? Halloween was made in 1978, made for a budget of around $350,000, which is insane. Like, for 1978?
No one had ever made a movie about Halloween. And I picked up the telephone and called John Carpenter, who was in my mind at the time because of Assault on PC-13. And I said, what do you think of the title Halloween? Expecting him to perhaps balk. He got it right away. And he told me right off the bat that he could make the picture for 4 weeks for $300,000.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, Halloween 1 is kind of like this, it's a great movie. It's a great horror film, but it's not the best kind of like spooky horror Halloween movie. I know a lot of people will probably be a little bit mad at that opinion, but like, it's not necessarily that fallish. Due to the budget, they kind of had to they shot in the spring, and because of that, they couldn't get fall trees. All the trees are green and full, and it's not too fallish, which this movie needs for its atmosphere. Directed by John Carpenter and produced by Mustafa Akkad, who is the one that he's kind of like the person that holds the main grasp over the Halloween franchise at this point.
We're all afraid of the same things. We're all born afraid of death, loss of loved ones, loss of abandonment from our parents, pain, injury. All of it is the same. We're all afraid of the same things, which makes a movie that deals in our fears universal.
Another thing is that this film is so low budget that John Carpenter himself had to do the soundtrack. Now, the soundtrack for this film is actually amazing, and it's honestly one of the best horror movie soundtracks ever made, and John Carpenter is a great composer. Back to, we cut to a first-person shot of someone looking through a window. They head upstairs to, do the
Boy look busy. Never mind. He getting rizzy.
They cut back to that. So this unnamed POV walks into the house, and in the house they find a clown mask on the ground. They paid up, they put it on, and it's this really awesome effect where we see through the holes of the mask. He stabs her. And she's dead.
We set up so that we would start in the front of the house, and we would actually go all the way through, creep in the window, see them kissing, go through the back of the house, open up the drawer, pick out the knife, and by the way, those are my hands. And then we would go in through the living room and up the steps and into the bedroom. And while we were up there shooting that scene, downstairs, all the electricians and grips were running around crazy trying to reset the lights for when we turned around and came back through the house.
There's something about this scene that is very disturbing to me, because it may be because of the slow breathing of the masked assailant. We aren't exactly sure who this is. This person, it's just for all, we know that this person is someone that the girl knows. She says his name. So we're like, oh, well, who is this? Is this a friend of hers? Is this some random person that she knows from school? We have no idea who this person is.
Michael?
this murderer, this psycho killer, is this 6-year-old brother of the girl that was just murdered. And this is the parents finding this little boy. Loomis is heading to Smith's Grove Sanitarium in order to oversee the transfer of Michael Myers to another prison.
When they start raving on and on.
You haven't anything to worry about. He hasn't spoken a word in 15 years.
We could definitely tell there's something about this. There's something going on here. Like, there's something really wrong. And really, Donald Pleasence is such an amazing actor. He really sells this kind of like underlying, like, this fear in his performance. He's very put together, but at the same time, he's very afraid of what's going on. It's Michael. And then this little effect that I love, it's kind of charming in a way. You can kind of let stuff like this get away because, you know, the movie was made at a budget of $350,000. The nurse gets attacked by Michael in the car, and what happens is, while she is backing away in the car, Michael slams his hand onto the passenger side window, and if you pause, you can see the wrench. There's a wrench taped to the actor's hand so that the window would break. So Michael has Grand Theft Auto this car. We cut to the next day. It's Halloween. It's October 31st. Of course, in the shot, they have like leaves falling on the ground, but it's funny because they don't have a good budget, so they can't get a lot of them. So it's just a guy, like 2 people with a fan, and one of them has a bag of leaves, and it like that they scooped up, you know, spreading this bag of leaves everywhere to try and get kind of a feeling of, you know, fall and autumn, because, you know, the film was shot in spring, so there's no autumn, fall leaves anywhere. To Laurie Strode, the first big role, the main lead, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, her first big, you know, star role, and she's great in this movie. I think she's genuinely a really great actress. You know, it's a good, for a first film, it's a good performance, I would say.
I remember the feeling about it more than anything. It wasn't like something happened on the set. You know, we're working hard. Everybody was very young. We were shooting in an incredibly fast pace. The entire makeup, wardrobe, prop department was in a tiny Winnebago. Here I was with these 18, 19, 20, 22-year-old guys primarily, and a lot of people's girlfriends and friends and family all creating this movie. So that remains the thing that was special about it for me.
She has, you know, been tasked with dropping off the keys to a resident, and the character that is introduced to us with Laurie is that she's a very, you know, bookie. You know, she doesn't fool around. She doesn't, you know, date boys. She doesn't, you know, go out and party. She doesn't smoke weed. She doesn't drink. She is a very good girl. I kind of relate to her.
Right there. Poor Lori. Scared another one away.
Laurie is in class, right? And there's this really great shot where she's looking out the window, and across the street you see Michael. By this point, he's already gotten his mask. He's already, you know, stolen. You know, we know it's him. Laurie, after class, she meets up with her 2 friends, Annie, and what in the hell was the other one's name? Linda.
John Carpenter and Deborah Hill seemed always, you know, very preoccupied with getting everything perfect. They seemed like the ultimate, incredible, down-home filmmakers because they had hands on everything. And John Carpenter just seemed like a genius to me because he really knew so much about what he wanted from every single second of the film.
And Annie, They're nothing alike Lori. Linda's a cheerleader. She says totally a lot.
You know, it's totally insane. We have 3 new cheers to learn in the morning. The game is in the afternoon. I have to get my hair done at 5, and the dance is at 8. I'll be totally wiped out.
I don't think you have enough to do tomorrow.
Totally.
Yeah. We learn that Annie's father is a Sheriff Brackett, who is, I like him. He's not in the movie a lot. He's not in the first film a lot, but he is genuinely a really great addition to the movie because I like cops that listen to characters, cops that genuinely do care about their characters, and Sheriff Brackett is definitely one of them. You know, Michael is stalking these people. We get the amazing headshot, which is so iconic. Thanks to the budget of this film, it really helps sell a lot of the atmosphere of this film, because there's a lot more, you know, things like just shots of people walking and talking, and this is kind of the point where I wish they had not shot in the springtime. And of course, I understand they had a deadline. They probably could not have shot any time else. They needed to get the film out. They needed to make the film. They couldn't have just let it sit there until fall happened. But at the same time, if these shots were like, you know, really like just orange and dark and just leaves everywhere, this would have been so much better and that's just me, I guess, you know. So Lori is you know, chilling in her room. She's, you know, relaxing for a little bit. It's never really explained. That's kind of the thing I love about Michael Myers, is that Michael is a very unpredictable serial killer. While, like, you know, we have things like Freddy Krueger, you know, sure, Freddy and Jason, they're in a way, like, pretty unpredictable, but, like, Jason, you know, you have, like, his mom and Pamela, and, like, you know, stuff with that, and, like, you know, Freddy Krueger, we have his backstory and how he died and all this stuff, but, like, with Michael, we have no idea why he's like this. We have no idea why he desires to kill people. We have no idea why he stalks these specific people. We have no idea why he still, you know, decorates and, you know, puts people's bodies up on display and, you know, like, sets traps and stalks and, you know, does all this stuff. So it's very, you know, in a way, Michael's a sort of cosmic, unpredictable being. Like, you know, he's almost Lovecraftian in a way, because he's very much, you know, this essence of evil, and no one can really say what he is. He's just evil.
What I thought about doing was not giving the antagonist, Michael Myers, really much of a backstory, but kind of kicking him up into a legendary kind of situation where he's much more like an element of nature. Because I thought that would be more frightening rather than personifying, make him almost a force. So then the mask, which ties in with Halloween, would blank out his human features for most of the film, making him then just some sort of force of evil that is irrational, unstoppable.
Later in the night, Loomis is basically just like searching for Michael. He's gradually searching and searching, and they check out the Myers house. It's late at night. It's this really great scene. They find a dog. They find a dead dog.
It's still warm. He got hungry.
He's beast-like, and he can eat dogs and kill anybody and stuff. And then you realize, wait a minute. Michael has been locked up in Smith's Grove since he was 6 years old. How does he know how to drive? Like, how does he know how to drive? Also, how does he know his way around town? Like, he's not been to Haddonfield in 15 years. Also, like, sure, like, he lived there when he was 6 years old, but I'm not gonna remember. If I moved away at 6 years old, I'm not gonna remember the entirety of my town that I used to live in.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Coffee on my paper. Jeez. I got coffee on my notes. I got coffee on my notes. I'm pissed about that. I should not have done that. Also, do you appreciate my Laurie Strode attire? Linda's been murdered by Michael. Bob's been murdered by Michael. Annie's been murdered by Michael. So, and it makes me sad because now, like, all of Laurie's friends have been murdered. But she falls off the banister and she lands on the stairs, and you kind of already know, like, that must have hurt like a bitch. So she gets up, she runs out of the house, she has a limp, she's hurt herself. No one helps her, by the way. No one in the neighborhood. It's all these old ass people. They probably don't understand kind of the gravity of the situation. Laurie runs upstairs and she pleads for the kids to run out the house and go to the next doors and call the police. And then Michael, in his amazing determination, he walks back up the stairs and he faces them, and like, he still feels pain. He's just really determined and has a lot of willpower. Loomis walks over to the banister and he looks down and Michael's gone. I feel like Michael in this movie, he's kind of, they pull him up to be this, like, being a pure evil. And that's why I like the first Halloween not as a slasher, not as this, like, franchise movie, as more of this allegory for evil in the world. Evil can strike you at any moment in your life. Anytime. Anything can happen to you. And you'll have no idea why. It can affect the people that you know, it can affect, random people that you've met just in the matter of seconds. And even though you've conquered evil and you've stopped it and you've put 6 bullets into it, it will disappear and vanish into the night. And you realize in those moments that evil will always be there. Evil will return at some point. And you never know. And that is probably the most terrifying part about this movie.